are once again, Misty and I. We are going to go ahead and debrief chapter 22. And this chapter's title is The Different Degrees of Your Emotional Guidance Scale. So, this chapter, for me personally, I don't know about you, Misty, but I know that this chapter at least seemed to have made a little bit more sense than the previous two.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe because it was a little bit more simpler and easier to understand in terms of what this chapter was about. And one of the things that that I really liked is the first sentence. It says, "You might say that different emotions have different vibrational frequencies." But a more accurate way of saying it would be your emotions are indicators of your vibrational frequency. And even though this sounds like it's the same thing, it really isn't, because saying and understanding the feeling is different. Right? Saying, "Oh, when you are happy, the you're in the most highest vibration." But saying it can be something so simple, but actually feeling the emotion is the true indicator of happiness. Am I in the true state of happiness, and how does that vibration
Mm-hmm.
feel? Versus sometimes we just kind of think, "Oh, anger is the worst." But in this book, I was able to realize, you know, and it's so interesting. I know I'm going to get a little on the personal side here, but it's so interesting how the conversation that I had with you last night, in terms of kind of me getting into my own head, it just an experience that I had and that you and I spoke about, right? And I was able to distinguish the difference
Mm.
between, right? I was able to distinguish the difference between it, and I swear this chapter has given me so much enlightenment in terms of like the unconscious incompetence of what I did yesterday, or the unconscious competence of what I did yesterday. I somehow found myself on one of the most lowest vibrational emotions. But somehow I took myself all the way up the scale. And this is what they consider an unconscious competence, right? I had the competence to do it, but I did it so unconsciously, because although I'm being conscious and aware of upgrading my emotions and just checking them out, it happened so abruptly, it happened so fast, it happened so without me. I had no say. It just happened, as if someone was showing me an example of how to go about it in the future. Do you know what I'm saying? And it was the most amazing feeling ever, and it's so empowering. That's the amazing feeling. The empowerment of saying, "Wow, I can totally understand the emotion. I can feel it. I can decipher it. I can see where it's coming from, but I can also dissipate it and let it go free." Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I love this chapter because it really just talked about what happened for me last night that I had no idea what it was. But this chapter is letting us know you can move up, you can move up, and it doesn't matter what the next level up is as long as there's a sense of relief from what you were feeling, you're moving up the scale. Right? So one of the things that I really liked here, basically, that is just saying, like, say for example, if you are depressed, right? So when you're depressed and you're talking about how sad you are, it's obviously disempowerment, right? You're kind of like taking out the bullets or the ammunition of empowerment that you have. You're like taking them away from you when you're in this state of depression. And we're not purposely doing it, we just don't understand that being that low and feeding more energy into it versus finding a solution and a way out is more crippling than it is empowering, right? But it says here, if you choose to, say, for example, accept fear as a different emotion, some people may not like, I mean, sorry, anger. Some people may not like anger because it is, when there's an angry person, it's always mostly like a projection, right? Anger is projection. And like the book said, depression is inward. So everybody will choose a depressed person anytime because they can say almost anything and the person is already kind of like low, low, low. They're just kind of taking it in. A person that's angry is always shooting out. Right? So nobody wants to deal with the angry person. We prefer the depressed person, but we don't realize that the depressed person needs even more uplifting, even more loving, even more space for this person to completely just fall down, but have the ability to say, there's someone here holding space for me for when I get back up. Do you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so I really like that. And I'm going to tell you why I like that, because it's saying right here that anger is still a better, more like a better vantage point towards the desire that you want than the feeling of depression, because that feeling is fear, grief, despair, and powerlessness. You don't want to feel powerless, right? When you're angry, you're feeling powerful. So there's the difference, right? There's the difference that goes to show, like, yeah, anger and depression, they're both still low states, but which one's higher? Which one's slowly gonna take you up that chain, right? And I really, really liked it because I was like, wow, that is so true. And then I'll tell you something. If you really, you know me, if I really like look and analyze angry and how people release, well, girl, people are releasing, people projecting in from anger because in depression they couldn't. In depression they were killing themselves, stabbing themselves. It could have been very well where you're in an abusive relationship, right? And so you're just smaller and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. But guess what, when you get to anger, when all of a sudden you get to anger, you release it. You let it go. You forget that you were the victim and you're just like, fuck this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm coming out of this situation now. And so the retaliation comes. And yes, although you are showing other people and you are kind of, spitting fire at other people, you're finally feeling a sense of empowerment. You're able to project what you're feeling now that you're angry because you're no longer killing yourself. You're now realizing, wait, hold up. It's time for me to defend myself. It's time for me to speak my truth, even though you may not like it. And it makes sense why people prefer the person that's depressed and quiet and doesn't really know what the hell than the person that's angry. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, well, that's the reason why when people are angry, they release all this. Well, because they went down the scale so deep, they had no way how to speak for themselves. They had no way how to defend themselves. They were so low. So now they finally make it to this upgrade. They upgraded to anger. And so now they're like, fuck this. Where was I? Where my head was so far up my ass, I couldn't even defend myself. You know what I'm saying? But when I see it now, I'm like, wow, this is empowerment. And yet, there could be the friend, and I'll say me, okay, that could still be like, but girl, why are you getting mad? Because I obviously understand that once I'm in this mad place, I can move myself up. But guess what? This person doesn't. This person is finally in a place of liberation. They don't see that they can still move up. They're just like, shit, I'm up compared to where I was. Right? But one thing that I really, really liked that it says here, it says, only you know if choosing anger is appropriate to you. And I love that because that put me in a very humbling place of like, Amber, just because you see someone angry and you can feel their energy and you feel bad because you know this harboring is poison, and I want them not to be angry. Who am I to say that their choosing anger is the wrong choice versus depression? Shit, and when I look at it like that, choose anger any day, homegirl, because it'll be a matter of time before you break through. versus keep going back deeper down, deeper down. Whoa, we were in the wrong direction. We need to catch some air, right? So I really like that it said right there, only you know if choosing anger is appropriate for you. It really put me in a very humbling state to realize all I gotta do is hold space. That is it. When the person is ready to want to get out of that state, they will ask for help. They like, it's just, it gets to a point where your humanness, your being just wants to survive, and it will ask for help. It may not know how. It may not know how to ask what you really want. You may not be, direct with it. You might not know how to do it. But the humanness, the beingness inside of us wants to live. So no matter how low you are, you will always get thoughts and ideas and people's names and resources for you to get back up. So it just kind of, once again, it just put it in perspective for me. And why did I say that? I said that because no matter how low anybody can feel, and no matter how low you may see yourself at in the moment, there's always a way up. There's always a way up, right? When you're down, when you're rock bottom, when you're breathing the freaking dirt, you know you can't go nowhere but up. You cannot go nowhere but up. You just have to, know that your gas tank, your little air machine is got enough air to keep you flowing with this oxygen while you're going back up this deep freaking rabbit hole. That's all you gotta do is just have hope and have faith and know for a fact I'm not gonna run out of oxygen. It's gonna take me a while to climb up this rabbit hole that somehow I allowed myself to fall into. But I have full knowing that my little oxygen tank is gonna take me all the way to the top. Now it's up to me how much I am climbing every single day to get out of this position. And so I just wanted to bring that up for anybody that is feeling low, that has felt low, that doesn't know how to get out of their low. Just have faith that your little oxygen tank has more than enough oxygen for you to get out of that rut. There is more than enough resources and people out there, so be resourceful. And you're not the only one going through these things, and there is a way out. So that's a little bit of what I can share. I really liked this chapter. It has so much, but I'll pass it on to you, my love.
That was amazing. I love the examples that you gave because for real, that's some real stuff altogether. And just showing how um just the whole anger thing. I really love your example with that, just kind of holding space for people because you really don't know sometimes what someone is going through. And, although we may be trying to help someone by saying certain things, like you said, like, why are you angry? Like, why are you acting like this? But yet, if we think about it, there's even a lower state, that's actually closer. So the other thing that I wanted to actually kind of tap into too is that those feelings, like you were saying before, like only we truly know what feeling is a better feeling from whatever wherever we were, like, because even this guidance scale, they tell you here too, don't be caught up too much in the words because certain words mean or feel a different way for everyone. So really you just need to tap into really and connect with how you truly feel. And if you are feeling, if that state, the new state that you are in is feeling better, then you are getting yourself closer and closer to your desires. And that's really just you realigning. So you kind of getting closer to the feeling good is really you just realigning yourself to reaching your desires. So the worse we feel, we're kind of just, stepping away from our desires, getting further away. And then the better that we continuously start to feel, to me, that's kind of where we are in the almost in manifest, getting closer to our manifestation stages when we're in that feel good situation. There was something else, there was so much here, man. Like you said, I can't wait to read some of your comments because there's definitely lots of goodies here and so many different ways that people can interpret this chapter. But though that was really like the main thing is really just, for me is just really tapping into the way you feel and just really just realizing okay where you were like don't give yourselves too much grief or shit about what I mean like why am I feeling like this but yet yesterday you couldn't even like speak, you were in bed all day and at least today you're throwing shit around the house. At least today you're out of bed. So, just do what you got to do. Keep moving up that scale, keep moving upwards towards your desires and what you truly want and just focus on what you really really want, not what you don't have. Stay focused on those emotions and what you truly want. The other thing that kind of stood out for me too was I'm going to kind of just read it from this paragraph is when your desire feels so big that it feels unreachable, it is not on the verge of manifestation. So when your desire feels to you like it is the next logical step, then it is on the verge of manifestation. And I really had to like kind of just sit with that for a minute. And I can kind of see why they would say that because for sure when you're what you want is just so big and it feels unreachable. So already the feeling of it being unreachable, that already right there, you already just shot it. You just shot it down. You know what I mean? Because you already feel that it's unreachable. Like you already said that I can't get it. Like shit, I really want that, but fuck, I don't even know how the fuck I don't think I can get there. Like that shit looks way too big, and you already shot down your dream. So basically just kind of just focusing on the next step like okay I need to get whatever you want to learn how to drive. Okay, I need to get my kind of getting the baby steps kind of together, just the next logical step, the next logical step, kind of building up to it. I feel like it's kind of in a sense building your belief towards something, because sometimes it is just we and there's no wrong and shooting for like the moon and beyond. Honestly, go for it, because truly we have that ability, we have that power, we can get it and have it all. So just go for it, but it's really just the belief system, like really believing in it. So because if you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. So really it's just learning ourselves all together and what we need to do, and like just doing little things that are going to keep getting you closer to it without totally shooting your dreams down. So just kind of building your just doing the building blocks, just taking one step at a time, instead of looking at like, oh my god, I have to climb this whole mountain. That right there just discourages you, and you just sit there and like look at how much work you have to do, instead of just take one step at a time. Like just worry about the 1 foot up, the next foot up, and then just keep going. So to me that kind of stood out. But so much goodies in here. Thank you so much, Amber, for your amazing examples. I love the oxygen tank. We all need an oxygen tank and buddies along the way with extra oxygen, just in case we might need some if ours falls out of our hands for whatever reason. So I love that. So definitely encourage and just be there for other people, and definitely share this. If this is helping you in any kind of way, feel free to share it, because this is what it's all about, is really just empowering ourselves, empowering each other, and just becoming more alive and just enjoying this life experience, like this said, all together. And if you think about it, that's all we really want to do, is continually grow, expand, and just do more and experience more. So let's just continue to do that and have some buddies along the way and have fun with it. So thank you all. Yeah, continue to leave your comments, do what you got to do, and stay connected, and let's keep going.